So here we go.
How was recording your debut? Finally, after being in the band for 2.5 years.
Positive.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we've recorded before too. We have an EP out on Ernest Jennings, but the process was less total. Like the way that we all went as a band and lived in the studio in Philadelphia where we recorded, and it was a much more total recording experience where we had all day, every day for a while, and it was what was on our minds primarily, as opposed to, like guerrilla recording late at night in certain places where maybe people won't be making noise around you. And,
yeah. We also produced the last EP to some extent, like Devin and I and another producer, Alan, produced it. So it was really great for me to we found a producer who's just amazing, and so we just got to be musicians, and for me that was so awesome just to play.
It was nice to go to Philadelphia because it was a different city and it was a different vibe. It seemed more relaxed there, and we were sleeping at the studio and stuff. So it was it's a lot different than being in New York. When we were recording in Queens, it was a lot more hectic. We had to drive up there every day. Part of what made it feel different was not just that it was Philadelphia. I wouldn't say it's like a Philly sounding record or anything. If it is, then it's so subtle that even I don't think we realize. But it was to just be out of New York and be doing our own thing, being on lockdown where we were recording.
How is La Strada not just another band from Brooklyn that's being clumped in the mold of bands coming out of this borough right now?
Not all of us listen to the same band. We listen to different types of music. Some of us listen to indie music, some of us don't. And we kind of clump that all together and just take from different places. And it seems to us to be all original and honest music. So that's all we really care about. We don't really try to compare ourselves to other bands, try to stand out necessarily. We just try to make music that we all like together.
I don't really think in terms of being original, or standing apart. I think more in terms of just writing really good songs and finding really good people to write with and to perform with and record with.
James lived in Romania for a few years.
That'll
So
do
when
it.
we first started getting together, when we first started playing together, we kind of wanted to do some of that kind of music, Balkan music. We were interested in that.
Yeah.
But we've kind of moved past it a little bit. We still like that style of music, but we've sort of tried to just, take in whatever we like now, whether it be European or American or wherever, Indian or Asian or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up the accordion because I liked playing keys, and then the first songs that came out were just these Balkan sounding songs, because I guess because I lived there,
Mm-hmm.
and they were good enough to want to do with the band, but it wasn't oh yeah, this is my sound, this is what I'm about Balkan music, or it's just kind of just what what's there, what comes out, and
Yeah, at the time we thought it was a lot of fun. So we
that's
a bunch
it.
of those
listen to
songs.
this.
Since then we're kind of we just sort of played one. We just kept one of those.
Yeah.
And I think our sound has evolved too. It's not something that has just strictly changed. I think we still subtly incorporate our older genre interests into what we do now, but it's a lot more diverse in its style now, and just by virtue of playing with new people. I mean, not everybody was, Brady and I joined later, and things kind of slowly but eventually took a more, I don't know, it just changed. All of our own styles clicked together in a different way.
Got more awesome.
Got super awesome.
HBO will be airing one of your songs on their show, Bored to Death. How did this come about? How do you feel about it? And what's it going to be like for you guys to hear one of your songs on a show that's going to be watched by an entire country?
Our publisher.
Yeah, our publishing company. We had just signed a contract with them, and then a couple weeks later, they're like, "Oh, here you go, Bored to Death." I'm like, "Oh, this sounds like an interesting show."
Might have
was it just a couple days later?
It was, yeah, it was like ridiculously
Kinda weird.
quickly after.
Right away.
Like, oh, Jason Schwartzman, Zach Galifianakis, Ted Danson, it won't be bad. And then
We're all really excited. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really cool.
We're not sure if we're gonna be able to watch it though. 'Cause none of us have HBO.
So you have CMJ coming up this year. What has that experience been like for you guys?
We
No,
played last
just
year
last
for
year.
the first time, so
Mhm.
yeah, I'm excited. We're playing more shows this year. We're kind of fully booked for CMJ.
It's going to be great because we've been sort of not performing live very much at all the last few months
Uh-huh.
because we've been geared up for recording. And we're going to be playing like, what, 6 shows in
Six
5
shows
days?
in 5 days.
That's
So we're all really excited about that. Just being back in that mode of playing a lot.
So now, does the name of the band come from the film, or is it something completely different?
It was inspired by the film, definitely. Yeah. Devin was really into Fellini at the time.
I was going through a phase.
Yeah, and we were like struggling for names. I mean, we sat at a cafe that one time and just like went through the most ridiculous names, like
Yeah, I don't remember what any of them were
Yeah.
anymore, but
I don't know. Yeah.
but there were a lot of them.
Yeah, and somehow the sounds of the titles of those movies worked for me, and they started to resonate with everybody, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's not like we have Fellini on our minds when we're playing or something.
Right.
We don't write in any way to honor his film, but I think there's a fair enough comparison to a lot of the interest we have in European music.
I watched the movie to like make sure it was a good movie because I felt like it was a great name, and it was a really good movie. And La Strada means the road, and I thought that was really like, you know, poetic or whatever. And I was like, this is really good. And then the movie was so good, and it just had these points that were so good. I was like, totally, let's do it.
So now, just quick to wrap things up, where do you want the road to take you?
I'd really love to just like do music full time and just wake up thinking about it and spend all my time thinking about it and writing and rehearsing. That'd just be awesome. That's really that's a I think a pretty like viable goal for me. That'd be nice. Yeah. With this band.